Good morning, afternoon, whenever you're watching this, guys. The Red Sox are officially 81 games into the season. That would be the halfway point. And so, like last season, we are going to go through everyone who has played even a singular game for the Red Sox, and we are going to do tier rankings. I was going to try to get this video out last night after they beat the Yankees, but I was at the World Cup game. Pretty cool. Got to see England and Panama play. But that is not what we are here about. We are here to talk about the baseball team that has been very, very painful to watch this year. And so the tiers that we are going to be working with for the day is at the top, we have I'm so sorry you're stuck on this team. This is to the players who have actually been doing quite well for the team this year, and some of which, as we'll discuss, are probably going to get flipped at the deadline. Right below that, we have very good, then above average, average, below average, he sucks. Those are all pretty self explanatory. We have too small sample size. That's for the people who either haven't played enough or they've just been injured and therefore haven't played enough. And then bury him under Fenway is reserved for the select few players and general manager slash chief baseball officer who will not be named at the moment, who are just awful, and we'd rather bury them under Fenway because they have been putting me and other Red Sox fans through great pain this year. So without further ado, the order of these is kind of arbitrary. We'll go through all the players, then we'll do management, ownership, and then finally we'll rank the team as a whole, although I think you guys can figure out where I'm going to put the team because they have been very bad. So anyways, first off, I don't know why, just randomly the way I did this is Alec Gamboa. I think he maybe pitched out of the bullpen for one or two games this year, back in like April or May. Definitely going to be a too small sample size. We're going to skip Alex Cora for now. We'll get back to him later. Next off is Anthony Siegler. For those who haven't been paying attention recently, he got called up after IKF went on the IL. He's been playing second base for us. And you could argue that the sample size has been too small. He's looked really good lately. He's played some solid defense at second, and he has also been batting pretty well. Hit his first career home run the other day. I believe his first career home run. Definitely his first home run with the Red Sox. That was off of Garrett Cole. I think I can put him in above average for now. Next off is going to be Chapman. Chapman is definitely going, and I'm so sorry you're stuck on this team. Probably getting traded at the deadline. He's been great this year. 15 for 16 save opportunities. Only given up 5 earned runs, one of which was a fly ball that would not have been a hit anywhere but at Fenway, where it bounced off the monster. That was the game against the Blue Jays we lost the other week. And then obviously he had the meltdown against the Rockies, but even then, it was just a lot of bad luck. You look at the BABIP, it wasn't entirely his fault. Next off is Andrew Monasterio. For Monasterio, I would consider going between below average and he sucks. The bat has been underwhelming. The defense just kills me, both at shortstop and second base. He's not a great defender. I think it's maybe a bit unfair to put him in he sucks, but he's definitely a below average player this year. And just a note, I know last time I made these tier lists, I was going through all the Savant pages. I've done that ahead of time, just in the interest of time. We're going to keep things short, not go through that for now. Next off is Caleb Durbin. You asked me this a month ago, he very clearly would have gone either he sucks or bury him under Fenway. However, he has had a monster June. He's been batting over 300, OPS of nearly 1,000 in the month. He's really came around. I know he went to some facility in Boston to work on his swing. That has been working volumes for him. You can just see he's shorter to the plate. He just has a much better approach. He's always been keeping strikeouts very low. And then the defense has also been very solid the whole year. Definitely a Gold Glove candidate. I'm not sure if I'm ready to put him in very good yet. I mean, the average is still in the 220 range, but he's absolutely an above average player, and I do think a dark horse candidate for player of the month in June. Anyways, next off is Brian Bayo. Definitely going to be our first edition of Bury Him Under Fenway. Not even he sucks. You look at the numbers, he has an ERA of like above 9 as a starter this year. Technically, as a relief pitcher, he actually has the second best ERA, only behind, I believe, Suarez for the Braves. I mean, his ERA in, I guess, 4 outings in bulk relief is .71. Actually better than Mesa Miller. But then again, the fact that you need to have a starter go out before you, and the starters who have gone out before him all fared very poorly, there's just nowhere else to put him except for bury him under Fenway. There's a reason that he's back in AAA. Next up, we have Cedon Rafaela, absolutely going in very good. At the moment, he's having a career year. I think he's currently at 4 wins above replacement, so he's on pace to have, an 8-ish war season. The bat has really come around. There hasn't been much power this year, but he's just getting on base every game, batting around 280, OPS in the high 700s, and the defense is still there. I'd still argue he's the best defender in baseball, and if you look at any defensive metric, whether that be defensive runs saved, or outs above average, or fielding run value, Cedon is going to grade out very well. I really think he should have received more consideration in the All-Star voting. Next off is Carlos Narvaez. Carlos Narvaez has definitely been having a disappointing year. I don't know if I want to put him in he sucks, because defensively he's been fine. He's been better challenging lately. But then again, offensively his batting average is starting to flirt with getting below the Mendoza line. And you're just hoping from a lot more, especially after he had that meniscus repaired during the offseason. Connor Wong is having an excellent bounce back year. I'm kind of teetering between putting him in the average versus the above average categories. I mean, he's been batting around 260, 270. The defense has actually been good behind the plate. He's been very good with the challenges. I've been happy about that. I do think that I think I'm going to put him in above average. It's great to see him have a bounce back year. Hit his first home run the other week against the Rockies. First home run since 2024. That was really excellent to see. I think he has earned himself an above average. Next off, we have, I'm just looking at my notes here, we have Eduardo Rivera. This is going to be another circumstance very similar to Alec Gamboa. Just kind of pitched 1 or 2 games out of the bullpen. Kind of put him there. Okay, Connolly Early. Connolly Early is going to be another addition to above average. Also note that I'm not ranking people within the tier, so I'm not saying that Caleb Durbin is the best of the best in the above average tier. We're just kind of all grouping them in based on the order that we find them in. So Connolly Early is definitely going to go in above average. I don't know if I want to call him very good yet. I mean, his ERA is in the mid-3s. He had a few pretty shaky outings at the start of June, but he's bounced back lately. We got to see him have good outings against Seattle, even though he was a bit wild, hit 3 batters there. Then a good outing against the Yankees. I think it's good to see when his velocity is up. It's good to see when he has a lot of confidence in his off-speed pitches. And more importantly, when he's not walking guys and allowing a lot of base runners and he can get on cruise control. He's a very good pitcher. Generally, you're going to find that everyone in the rotation is going to be scoring pretty highly on this tier list. Next off is Greg Weissert. Greg Weissert is going to be the first addition to the he sucks category. I know the ERA has recovered a bit. It's back in the below 4 range. But when you look at the fact that he's allowed over half of the inherited runners that he's allowed over half of the inherited runners that he's had to score, that's obviously terrible. You put him in a clean inning, he looks much better. But he's still been responsible for quite a few of the losses this team has had. There's a reason we call him Greg. In play runs Weissert. He sucks. After Greg Weissert, we have ourselves Danny Coulomb. Danny Coulomb is going to be first addition to the average category. He's looking pretty shaky at the beginning of the year. I think he had an ERA around 5 or 6. Then he went on the IL, and ever since coming back, he's looked a lot better. He's looked like the reliever that the Twins had last year, who was very good. And for the low price tag of only $1 million for the year, I'd say that he's definitely a worthwhile addition to this team. By the way, I'm sorry if I'm speaking fast. As I said, I'm trying to make this video closer to 15 to 20 minutes as opposed to an hour. Okay. After that, we have Jake Bennett. Now, Jake Bennett has had a larger sample size now that he has been back up on this team ever since Brian Bayo got sent back down to AAA. I'm going to put him in average for now. I've really loved what we've seen from him in his last 2 outings. He completely excelled against the Rockies, 6 shutout innings, 9 runs. And then yesterday against the Yankees, 6 1/3 innings, only allowing that home run to Schumann, I believe. It's just when you weigh that in with his earlier starts, I think it balances out to an average player. He's definitely trending in the right direction. I would love to see the velocity kind of be up more in the 94-ish range. It was kind of down in the 92, 93 range yesterday. But really love his changeup. I can see why the Nationals were so high on him as a prospect, and I think that if he stays up here, I'd like to imagine that the end of season rankings, his position is going to improve. After that, we have Johan Oviedo. I was considering putting him in the below average he sucks category, but I think I'm just going to put him in the too small sample size. We really only got to see a couple of outings from him out of the bullpen, and I just think we don't have enough to judge with there. Next up, we have Isaiah Kiner-Falefa. Very pleasantly going to be putting him in above average. We were all wondering why we were dishing out $6 million to IKF at the start of the year. He's been really everything you could have asked for. He's kind of been the main guy who has been the face of the clubhouse, kind of answering all the questions of the media, kind of that veteran presence there. Offensively, he's been fine. I think his average is around 260, 270. Obviously, back in late May, early June, he was on a tear when his average was up in 300. And if you look at his defensive metrics, he's at, I believe, 5 outs above average now. That's between shortstop, second base, and a few outings at third. He's been excellent defensively, too. No reason not to put him in above average. I don't think he's quite yet in the tier very good. I definitely wouldn't put him at the same caliber of offensive or defensive player as Cedar Rafaela, but he's been a very pleasant surprise for the team this year. Who has not been a pleasant surprise for this team, however, is Mickey Gasper. Mickey Gasper is going to be going in below average. Obviously, he was lighting it up when he first got here. Now he's just been very mediocre. Kind of pisses me off when you see that he's batting leadoff half the time. It just doesn't feel like he's a leadoff batter. His average is down to 240-ish, 250-ish. The OPS isn't that great. He hasn't hit for much power. Hasn't hit a home run yet this season. And the defense as catcher really hasn't been great. His ABS challenges have been awful. I don't know if he's thrown out a runner yet. And when he's coming to pinch hit, he has struck out 4 of his 6 pinch hit appearances. So he's just a below average player. Kind of felt like a gimmick novelty sort of thing, and I think you're going to see that our catcher room is going to go down from 3 to 2, and it's going to be a question of who is going to be leaving. Next off, the man that we loved so dearly last year, and unfortunately this year we're going to have to put him in too small sample size. I think that Crochet is too good a player to put him in he sucks just because he got lit up by the Twins. Clearly he's had some injury things going on with, his shoulder and whatnot, but obviously to see just how good of a season he had last year, just unfortunate what's happened to him. You'd love to put him in the top tier of the tier list, but unfortunately, he just hasn't played, and it doesn't exactly look like we're going to get him back anytime soon. Anyways, after that is going to be Nate Eden. We're going to put Nate Eden in too small sample size at the moment. It kind of bothers me that I'm putting him there. I've been one of the larger advocates for bringing Nate Eden up much earlier because I think he just provides so much more value than a lot of guys on this roster. At the very least, I think there's zero reason why Monasterio or Yoshida should be up in the big leagues over Nate Eden. Nate Eden is a better hitter than them. He's a better defender than them. And he's the fastest guy on this team. He's an elite speedster. So, ideally, in a larger sample size, I do think that Nate Eden is an average to above average player. Then again, we're just going to have to see more from him, and I'm hoping that he'll stay up on the big league roster for longer, because I do think that he provides real value for this team. Next off is Garrett Whitlock. Whitlock's going to be another guy that we're going to put in above average. He's having a bit of a down year compared to last year. Obviously, last year, along with 2021, were career years for him. If you look at the metrics, the ERA is pretty good. It's in the mid to high 2s. He's been striking as many guys out. His fastball velo has been down. Last year it was around the 96 range. I think he topped out at 97, 98. This year it's been closer to down in the 94, 95 range. Still has a pretty solid changeup and slider to pair with the sinker. He's just, I think also if you look at Savant, a lot of the underlying metrics aren't as good as they were last year. And I think because of that, he's still an effective reliever. Obviously, he's still the guy we've been going to be our setup man, but I just think I'm going to have to downgrade his tier from kind of the very good tier from last year to the above average this year. Justin Sladen, this is a really unfortunate one. I want to put him in he sucks because when it rains, it pours with Justin Slade. And when he gives up runs, he has complete blow-ups. But his stuff is just too good to put him there. I feel like I'm going to have to put him in below average, though. If you look at the ERA is in, like, the 6 range right now. But the stuff is there. He has a fastball that can get up to 99. He has a really nice cutter and curveball to pair with it. I think the pitch sequencing hasn't been the best for him, but as we saw yesterday when he struck out Caballero and Jazz, I mean, the stuff is there, and I feel like we just have to figure out how we can get him back to his 2024 form. After Slayton, we have Jack and Anderson. Jack Anderson also going into small sample size. I mean, to be entirely honest, I think he should probably be up here over at least Ryan Watson. When we get to Ryan Watson, we'll talk about him in the Rule 5 stuff. But for now, I think just put Jack Anderson into small sample size and move on. Ranger Suarez, we're going to put Ranger Suarez. I think it's between the top two tiers for him. I am going to put him in I'm so sorry you're stuck on this team. Obviously, I know the name of the team, or the name of the tier kind of implies that these are people who are getting flipped at the deadline. Obviously, Ranger Suarez signed a 5-year, $130 million deal. He's going to be here for a while. But if you look at the stuff, Ranger has been everything you've wanted him to be so far this year. He's got an ERA below 3. The wins haven't come around because he hasn't gotten much run support. He's been looking a lot better as of late. He's actually been striking a lot of guys out, which he normally doesn't do. He's more of a ground ball pitcher, but he's been getting those ground balls too. He's looked really solid as of lately. I think I could understand if you only want to put him in very good, but I'm putting him in the top tier. Ranger Suarez is not the reason why you are not winning games this season. Next off is Joe LaSorsa. He has only made one appearance this year, and that is enough for me to put him in Barry under Fenway. He came in against the Yankees, and his very first pitch as a Red Sox was a 3-run homer to Jazz Chisholm. He got DFA the next day. Get him out of here. Bury him under Fenway. We can move on. Jarren Duran is next. Kind of want to put Jarren Duran in he sucks, but I think I'm going to put him in below average. The thing about Jarren Duran, obviously, he's never going to get back to the form he had in 2024 when he put up, I think, 9 B-WAR. 2025 was pretty solid last year. I still think he was a 4 to 5 win above replacement player last year. This year, he's still positive in the WAR column, but it's just been very disappointing to see what he's been doing. The defense has been fine. He looked pretty awkward and uncomfortable in left field last year. This year, he looks at least like an average to slightly above average defender out there. The arm strength is still pretty good out there, but the bat has been the problem. He's currently batting below 200, I believe. He obviously had a solid month of May insofar as he hit 10 home runs. But even then, he only hit around 260 that month. This month, he's gone back to being quite awful. And it's unfortunate that you couldn't have traded him for more value, or that you didn't trade him for more value when he was worth more value, because you are going to begin to have these these outfield logjam problems when Roman Anthony comes back. And it's going to be a question of what to do with Jarren Duran, who really has been underwhelming for the team this year. Next off is Marcelo Meyer. Marcelo Meyer is actually going to go in the he sucks category. I really don't want to put him there, but when you look at him, the batting average has been in the kind of 220s, 210s range. The power really hasn't been there. He's been striking out a lot. He's really been struggling with off-speed pitches. It feels like if any pitcher throws a changeup or a splitter, it's just not going to end well for Meyer. And the defense was underwhelming too. I mean, he looked fine at second base. He just really hasn't been who you've wanted him to be at shortstop so far. I'd say he's not even the best defensive shortstop in the organization right now. I really think that IKF has been looking better out there. And, I mean, also now that you have, Sung Cha-Ching up here, I think he's also a better defensive shortstop. It's been really disappointing to see him, just see what the big three has done altogether. I know he's on the injured list now. I'm not going to get into the comments that Breslow made about the work ethic or the mentality that he has. Just feel like we can put him in the he sucks category and moves on. Speaking of he sucks, I'm going to put Masataka Yoshida there. Yes, I know he just did a home run off of Garrett Cole yesterday, but when you really analyze what Masataka Yoshida provides for this organization, he is a platoon DH who is batting under 250, and he is costing you $18 million every year. You cannot put him in left field because you do not trust him there. We've put him there a couple of games. He has looked not great out there. Batting, he just strikes out a lot. He's really struggled with breaking pitches in on him. and he just hasn't been providing much power. I think it's definitely a thing that he hasn't been playing consistently, and that's been affecting his mentality. But it's just poor roster construction, and he's just not the guy in the way that he was in 2023, for example. Sonny Gray, absolutely going in. I'm so sorry you're stuck on this team. He is 9-1 with a sub-3 ERA. He is exactly the guy you were hoping for him to be. He is looking to be the first starting pitcher in the league to 10 wins tonight if he pitches well against the Yankees. And when you look at him, it was a bit shaky to start off. He obviously wasn't having all the strikeouts and the swing and miss that we've always known Sonny Gray to have. He had that stint on the IL. Since he came back, he's been really good. The strikeout stuff has been coming back. He obviously struck out 11 in his last outing against the Rockies. Don't feel like there's much more to add there. Sonny Gray is a very quality player on this team, and hopefully, if you choose to trade him at the deadline, which at the moment I think you should consider doing, you can get a pretty solid return moving forward. After Sonny Gray, we are going to have, I have notes on who this is. It's Giovanni Moran. We are going to put Giovanni Moran in average. As a reliever, he has been a very good pitcher this year. He has given you in many outings, he's given you multiple innings. He has not been giving up many runs. He's been striking out more guys than he has in the past. The reason why I cannot justify putting him in above average is because the 2 to 3 times that you have asked him to be an opener for Bayo, he's completely failed. He had that bad outing against Detroit where he gave up 2 runs in the first. Then I think the outing after that, he gave up 3 runs. And because of that, I just kind of have to put him in average. It's really the stuff as an opener who's dragging him down. I know he's on the IL at the moment. He should be coming off the IL very soon. I definitely think he deserves a spot in this bullpen, though. He's at the very least an average pitcher. Peyton Tolley. I do not want to give Peyton Tolley, I'm so sorry you're stuck on this team. I think he's trending in that direction, but for now, he's absolutely very good. I know his record is only 4-5, but that is not his fault. He, like Ranger Suarez and Sonny Gray, has an ERA below 3. He's an absolute dog, very easy guy to like, a very easy guy to root for. He's been pitching quite well as of late. He obviously had a great last outing against the Yankees. I guess I probably can't say he's been pitching very well as of late. He was mediocre in the starts before that, but it's good to see that he's trending in the right direction. Obviously, his fastball is elite, can get up to 98, 99 when he's at his best, or when he's at his best. No, it was kind of down more in the whatever, like 90, 94, 95-ish range against the Yankees the other night. But Peyton Tolley's obviously a very good player. I'd love to see just how good he is when he gets more confidence in his off-speed stuff, and he's really got a complete arsenal. But for now, even just relying on fastballs 85, 90% of the time, he's been a very, very effective pitcher for you. Next off is Sung Cheng. I actually prepared this tier list a few days ago, and he wasn't on here because he only got called up a few days ago. He's looked good, but obviously too small sample size. He's really only played in 3 games. After that, we've got Nick Sogard. Nick Sogard's going in average. Yeah, he's just kind of the definition of, like, very standard baseball player. I know he spends a lot of time in AAA. I do think he's deserving of a spot on a big league roster, though. His defense is really solid, and he provides you utility. He can really play anywhere in the infield. The bat is very, very average. The speed's very average. He's just an all-around average to slightly above average baseball player. Next off, we have Wilyer Abreu. Wilyer Abreu, also going in the very good category. I know, he started off really hot in the 300s. Batting average-wise, his batting average is down closer to the 270, 280 range now. But he's still very good. He's a candidate to hit 20 home runs for you. I know he's been a bit underwhelming in the power regard. He's been hitting a lot of pop-ups that it feels like he should be squaring up with or barreling. But all told, he's a very good player, especially when you factor in his elite defense and the fact that he's on pace to win his 3rd Gold Glove in 3 full seasons up in the Major League. After that is Trevor Story. Trevor Story is going to go in the bury him under Fenway category. Why? Goes without saying. Very awful MLB player. We had 1 good year of him in the 5 years he's been here. He's obviously costing you $25 to $30 million every year. Just the defense is bad, the bat is bad, he strikes out all the time. I know he's on the IL now, and I think that him being on the IL actually makes you a better baseball team. I think that speaks volumes about the caliber of player he's been and just how disappointing he has been as a Boston Red Sox. Next off, Ryan Watson. Ryan Watson is going in the he sucks category. He's a guy that you do not trust to put in close games. You only put him in if you are waving the white flag because you're down by 5 runs, or if you are up by 5 runs and don't want to waste pitches on an actual decent bullpen arm. A lot of questions as to why he has been on the roster the full season. The reason why is he's a Rule 5 pick. For those who do not know how the Rule 5 draft works, you have to keep a Rule 5 pick, I believe, on your 40-man roster for the entire season. If not, you have to return him to the team that you drafted him from. For Ryan Watson, that I believe would be the San Francisco Giants, because the A's Rule 5 drafted him, and then we Rule 5 drafted him from the A's. So he would go back to San Francisco. But the thing about Ryan Watson is, I don't understand the value you think that he will provide to the organization moving forward. I think it would make so much more sense to DFA him and to call up a guy like Jack Anderson or Tyler Samaniego, because both of them are just much better relief pitchers than him. He has been first percentile in expected batting average, barrels, he allows so much hard contact, a lot of home runs. He's just a guy who I think is not worth keeping on the team just on the, on sole account of him being a Rule 5 draft pick. Next off, Roman Anthony. Poor guy. Would love to have him be in the top tier. Fortunately, he's been injured all season. Not much to add there. Much in the same boat of Garrett Crochet. Obviously, Garrett Crochet is the best pitcher on your team. Roman Anthony in a vacuum is probably the best, or at the least a top 2 hitter on your team. And like Garrett Crochet, he's had setbacks in his recovery timeline, and it doesn't seem like we're going to get him back anytime soon. So just unfortunate all around there. Anyways, after Roman Anthony, we have Tommy Kahnle. I think we've seen enough from Kahnle to call him average. We've seen how he has the potential to be above average. Look at, I believe, his first half numbers in Detroit last year. But he hasn't looked that great out of relief. Obviously, he gave up that home run to Julio Rodriguez when he came into that uncompetitive game in the 9th inning against the Mariners. And then he similarly gave up a home run a couple nights ago in a situation where there's pretty low leverage. But I don't think he's below average. I do think he's just very, very average all around. Anyways, after that, we have... I actually have no idea who the hell this guy is. I have to check my notes here. So there's probably going to be a guy who goes in the... Okay, yeah, Tyler Uberstein. See, just another guy who goes in the too small sample size. Made 1 or 2 appearances out of the bullpen. I am so sorry to Tyler Milliken for forgetting who Tyler Uberstein is, but he's pitched like twice for this team. What are you going to do? Tyler Samaniego. I'm putting Tyler Samaniego in above average. I think it is beyond asinine that we are having Ryan Watson be on this major league roster and not Tyler Samaniego. Obviously, Samaniego looked great to start off. I think he went through 13 innings without giving up a run. Then he got annihilated by Kyle Schwarber, but in fairness, Kyle Schwarber, I think that he should be a mid to highish level reliever on this team. He's definitely worth being on the team. He's an above average player. Next off, Wilson Contreras. Wilson Contreras is also unsurprisingly going in. I'm so sorry you're stuck on this team. I know he's looked pretty shaky over the last couple of weeks. After that outing against the Rangers, he was actually a top 5 player in the MLB in OPS. His OPS got as high as around 960-ish, but he's very clearly the best hitter on this team. He currently has 17 home runs. He is on pace to have over 30 home runs. No one else on this team is even on pace to have more than 21, 22 home runs. And, other than that, he's kind of the spark behind this team. You can just see how emotional he is in every game. He's really trying to rally the troops and to really get the players in this team rallied and excited to play baseball and to turn this team around. He's been looking better as of late. As I said, he had a few rough weeks. Looks like he's been kind of having a bounce-back series against the Yankees. And then defensively, he is the best defensive first baseman you've had since Mitch Moreland in 2018. The only above-average defensive first baseman you've had since Mitch Moreland in 2018. Very clearly, and I'm so sorry you're stuck on this team. Although hopefully we don't trade him at the deadline, because we still have, I believe, 2 more years of control of him after this. Absolutely worth keeping him around. I would much rather watch him play first and hit than watch Tristan Casas do that. All right, we are getting close to the end. Next off is Tyron Guerrero. I'm going to put Tyron Guerrero in above average. I know he's given up a few runs. He gave up 3 runs against the Rockies, but all of those were because of a Marcelo Meyer error. They were all unearned. If you look, I know he started off shaky, but if you look what he's done more recently, Tyron Guerrero is a strike throwing machine. He does not walk anyone, and he throws 103 miles per hour. I think that that's a pretty good recipe to be a good reliever. There's a reason why you've been seeing the Red Sox going to him in high leverage situations instead of Justin Sladen. I'm excited to see what Guerrero can continue contributing to this bullpen in the latter half of the season. And then our final player we are going to talk about is Zach Kelly, who sucks. I know I kind of expressed my thoughts about Zach Kelly in the video I made about the Red Sox-Orioles game back in 2023, but he has the potential to have elite stuff, and he just can't pull it together consistently, and there is a reason that he's in AAA. Do I think he should be above Ryan Watson? Probably, but I'm not sure if he's one of the 8 guys you'd want to be in your bullpen at the moment. So I can't justify putting him any higher than he sucks. And finally, we have the management / ownership of this team. For that, we're going to be going over Alex Cora, then Chad Tracy, and then finally Craig Breslow and John Henry before looking at the team as a whole. I don't have Sam Kennedy here because I feel like he is just another version of Craig Breslow. I feel like any thoughts I have on the one kind of applies to the other. First, we're going to start with Alex Cora, who I'm just putting in average. He's not the reason that this team sucked at the beginning of the year. We are going to talk about why the team sucked when we get to Craig Breslow, but it is going to be much the product of the roster construction. Cora was very clearly not the right man to fire, and I think that he is going to have zero problem finding a job next year because there are a lot of teams who are going to want him to be their manager. Chad Tracy. I'm actually going to put Chad Tracy in I'm so sorry you're stuck on this team. Not because he is an incredible manager, but because I am sorry that he had to inherit this shitstorm. I am genuinely sorry that he is stuck coaching the Red Sox instead of being in Worcester. Everything that is happening is not his fault. The poor guy keeps having to come to the media with answers that he very reasonably does not have, and I would not blame him for just breaking out into tears at a post-game press conference one of these days. Because everything that's happening is not his fault. I think that he has the potential to be a very, very solid major league manager if his general manager or chief baseball officer or whatever cockamamie thing his team wants to call the position of GM is just not a complete asshole and idiot. Speaking of Craig Breslow deserves to be buried under Fenway more than anyone else does. If you actually look at the offseason he had, it was pretty solid. I mean, if you look at the players who are in the I'm so sorry category, he traded for Sonny Gray and Wilson Contreras, and he signed Ranger Suarez. And if you look at Chapman, that was a deal he made the previous offseason. That is not the problem. The problem with Breslow is, one, the roster construction. The roster construction is absolutely atrocious. This team, if you told me how good this team's rotation was, and how good their bullpen has been, I would be asking you not what their record was. I would be asking you by how many games they were leading the Yankees and the Rays in the AL East. They are a last place team because he built a completely incompetent offense, and a lot of other GMs and scouts around the league have not been shy to call him out for that. That leads me into reason number 2 of why Craig Breslow sucks, which is the damn analytics in the models. It's related to the roster construction, but he buys way too much into his internal models, and what have they told you? They've told you that this offense, which has been last in the league in runs scored, is a solid offense. And I think that if that is what your models are telling you, and the result is so drastically different, you really have to look into why your models are being that incorrect. And then the third reason why Craig Breslow sucks as a manager, and I'm sure that other people who know more about this than I can probably offer a few other good reasons why he sucks as a manager, but third is the communication. He just communicates awfully. The shit that he says, the shit that he doesn't say. During his press conferences, it just feels like he's delivering you word soup. He's just kind of saying stuff that doesn't really have much meaning or substance behind it. And then when he's just openly shit-talking rookies like Marcelo Meyer, I know Meyer's technically not a rookie, but for all intents and purposes, he's a rookie. And he's saying that shit about Meyer that came out a few days ago. That's just not what a GM says. I mean, there's a reason that his job is in jeopardy, and it's really concerning to see that he's still considering buying at the deadline, given where this team currently is. Maybe they'll turn things around. I don't really buy much into that. This is a bad team, and it is because Craig Breslow did a bad job at constructing the roster. Speaking of, we're putting John Henry and burying him under Fenway. Why? Because he decided to side with Breslow over siding with Alex Cora, and because all the money he has goes to Liverpool instead of the Red Sox. Please invest in Boston again. I do not care much for European football. And then lastly, the team as a whole. And I think it's only appropriate that they go in the bottom category as well. This was a team that you were expecting to A, be a playoff contender, B, were expecting to contend for the division in what we all knew was going to be a very competitive AL East, and 3, a lot of people projected to actually make it out of the AL East and contend for the World Series. Right now, they are currently 11 games under 500. They were 14 games under 500 just 3 games ago. Just because they've won 3 games against the Yankees, it won't change my outlook on the team. It's a bad team. You can put lipstick on a pig. Do love that they're beating the Yankees, though. I mean, they were, 3 days ago, they were the worst team in the AL. They were worse than the Anaheim Angels. And I feel like if you're the worst team in the AL, there are 15 teams in the AL. I mean, you lost a series to the Rockies, you lost 5 out of 6 to the Twins, you lost 5 out of 6 to the Astros. You are losing to bad teams. You have only won 3 series at Fenway through the halfway point, 2 of which were in the past 2-3 weeks, by the way. You have won back-to-back series only 1 time. That was back in April. You somehow did it against the Brewers, who are one of the best teams in baseball. But all that being said, this is a bad team, and it has been a very painful watch. With that being said, this video still ended up being 35 minutes. I didn't think it would be that long. I didn't realize just how many players we've actually had play for the team. But I guess if you look at the purple paint category, too small sample size, we've had a lot of kind of relief pitchers who have made like 1 outing and then been sent back down. Anyways, if you like this video, feel free to like or subscribe. Thank you for making it to the end of the video if you did, and until next time, take care.